Young Phoenix men, Kurt Smithers and Carrie Batten, charging them with murder.
Inside this home, police found two bodies yesterday morning. Carl and Angeline Sutcliffe had been shot to death. 24 hours after the grim discovery, police announced that they had solved the murders. 19-year-old Kurt Smithers, seen here in a 9th grade yearbook photo, and Carrie Batten, who lived here not far from the murder scene, were arrested overnight and charged with murder. Police think Smithers and Batten knocked at the Sutcliffe's door at 1 yesterday morning. And once inside, police claim Smithers and Batten shot the Sutcliffes in the midst of a robbery.
We believe the motive at this time is robbery.
Was anything taken from the home?
Yes, it was.
Specifically?
Small amounts of cash.
Just down this street, now cordoned off by a red police ribbon, is the Sutcliffe's apartment building next to their home. In late spring, Sutcliffe threw a family out of that building. They moved out of state. But Carrie Batten, say police, knew the teenage son in that evicted family, and the dispute somehow factors into the murder. Late this morning, police divers were to enter the Oswego River near Batten's home, looking for the clothes the two men allegedly wore during the crime. They won't say if Smithers and Batten have confessed, but say they have found the gun used to kill the Sutcliffes. Dave Bullard, News Center 5.
Back in May, we reported on one of the more unusual burglaries in Onondaga County. The burglary happened at Flavin's Irish Pub, a bar near Syracuse. What made it unusual was the bar owner's decision to shoot at the two burglars. One of the burglars, John Milnicki, lost one of his legs because of the shooting. Today in Onondaga County Court, Milnicki also lost his freedom. Judge William Burke sentenced Milnicki to up to 4 years in prison, even though Milnicki's lawyer argued that Milnicki has suffered enough.
Also in county court, the murder trial of Donald Holgan continues. Holgan's accused of fatally choking a 71-year-old Fayetteville woman named Dorothy Golly last May. Today, Golly's stepson, Leroy Golly, appeared. He identified some of the dead woman's belongings. And that's important because it is part of prosecutor John Duncan's effort to show Holgan planned to rob Dorothy Golly and killed her during that robbery. A Syracuse man accused of terrorizing 4 people while robbing 2 homes in the last month was arraigned in city court this morning. Dale Healy entered pleas of innocent to charges of robbery, burglary, and unlawful imprisonment, among other charges. On November 20th, police say Healy entered the home of Marjorie Rogers in DeWitt. He allegedly bound and gagged Rogers and a family friend while he ransacked the home. He's also accused of a similar crime on November 1st. The freezing temperatures made for treacherous driving this morning during rush hour in the Syracuse area. Accidents, too numerous to count, were reported to area police departments. One accident on Onondaga Lake Parkway ramp at Route 81 was among the reported mishaps that in all involved at least 68 cars. 5 persons were injured, including one here at this location. None of the injuries were life-threatening. The problem seemed to be the same: drivers fooled by wet pavement that turned to ice on the bridge.
And I seen the person way up in front of me blinking their lights, and I said, geez, he must be hitting ice. So I took my foot off the gas, hit the pedals, and there was no response.
Another traffic pileup took place at the Mattydale Circle at the Route 81 off-ramp. Once again, fortunately, there were no serious injuries. Well, it's become a traditional sign of the holiday season, the lighting of the Money Towers downtown. Just like last year's lighting, thousands of lights outlining the towers will be turned on during a special ceremony tonight at 6. Hundreds are expected to turn out for the event. Still ahead on News Center 5, the pre-summit posturing. And an audience with the money gurus. Stay with us for more of News Center 5.
Hi, my name is Saul Fessman. I'm the president of Queen City Home Healthcare. I would like to tell you about a medical product that is very effective and may be at no cost to you. This is the seat lift chair. It is being used by thousands of people who suffer from severe arthritis as a form of treatment in their homes. Best of all, if you qualify, you can receive this chair at no cost. Here's how. You must have a qualifying condition such as severe arthritis or other diseases which make the chair a medically necessary treatment. You must be enrolled in Medicare, Part B, and have a Medicare coinsurance policy which covers the Medicare deductible and copayment. Many people suffer from arthritis and cannot get up from a seated position. This chair will give them the independence to get around and help them avoid falls and injuries. So if you're a Medicare recipient and you meet the previous conditions, then you can get this lift chair at no cost. Just call 1-800-544-3500, toll free, and we'll tell you how you can get this lift chair delivered to your door at no cost. That's 1-800-544-3500.
For years, cats across America have depended on one of the leading cat litters. Johnny Cat, the premium cat litter. Johnny Cat eliminates odors on contact. Your cat depends on you, and you depend on Johnny Cat. So, when Mother Nature calls, Johnny Cat and a little privacy is all any cat needs. Look for Johnny Cat now at a store near you.
Antwerp, home of many of the great craftsmen who practice the extraordinary art of diamond cutting. Our buyers go there, select their finest diamonds, and pass the savings along to you. Where Richard & Company Fine Jewelers. Come see our very special selection of fine diamonds for that very special someone in your life. What could be more romantic than a magnificent diamond from one of the world's great artisans and Richard & Company Fine Jewelers.
A week before his summit with Soviet leader Gorbachev, White House sources say that President Reagan is set to send a classified report to Congress accusing the Kremlin of another treaty violation. One official says Reagan contends that 2 outmoded radar installations near Moscow and Kiev violate the 1972 Anti-Ballistics Treaty. One hostage was freed overnight by rebellious Cuban inmates at the federal prison in Atlanta. The inmates say it was a sign of good faith. Negotiations are continuing in an effort to end the stalemate. 89 prison workers are still being held hostage. Well, Chicago has a new mayor.
Eugene Sawyer, the longest-serving black alderman in the city, was chosen for the job by his colleagues early this morning. Sawyer was chosen following a long and stormy session of the city council, one which lasted well into the early morning hours. Sawyer will fill the post until a special election is held in 1989. He fills the vacancy created by the death last week of Harold Washington. New York's retailers fared pretty well during the last week of November. The Retail Council of New York says most retailers reported sales increases of 3 to 4% during the week that traditionally begins the holiday shopping season. Money expert Steve Crowley continues his trip to a New Orleans financial conference. Today he talks to a top expert about the future of the stock market.
Would you please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Louis Rukeyser.
Is it too late to buy stocks and shares in stock mutual funds? Should we buy more? Or should we sell what we own now, take those profits and losses for real? They came to New Orleans from around the country to hear what experts like Louis Rukeyser of Wall Street Week fame have to recommend. Lou is optimistic about the post-crash stock market. He told me small investors, by and large, have remained optimistic too.
Which confirms an old view of mine, which is that the individual investor is probably the smartest investor in the market and has a great many advantages, one of which, probably the overriding one, is the stupidity of the institutional investors.
Many hard money enthusiasts, people who recommend gold and silver as both inflation hedges and investments for hard times, don't like the stock market at all right now. That includes Howard Ruff, author of the Rough Times newsletter.
Take your pick.
Ruff recommends selling stocks and stock funds when and if prices jump up a little. He calls this move selling into rallies. If I've taken a hit on my stocks or mutual funds, what's your advice now? Should I sell now or hold on?
If you saw Dow Jones at 2100 or maybe 2050, I think I'd be unloading my equity funds and I'd be moving into income type funds. I'd be moving into bond funds and utility stocks or utility funds.
And in my next report, we'll talk to Robert Ringer, the man who wins through intimidation and teaches us how to look out for number one. He'll tell us what's ahead in the depression that he says has already begun. I'm Steve Crowley with your Money Report.
Still to come, 'tis the season for flurries in the 5-cast.
And in Jim's letters, pet food booby traps. Stay with us for more of News Center 5.
Will the upcoming holiday cost us more than our usual shopping? My best food buys of the week says no.
It's now the season to enjoy a warm, glowing fire in your fireplace. But a buildup of creosote in your chimney could mean extensive fire and smoke damage to your home. You need the professionals at LB's Chimney Sweeping Service. LB's Chimney Sweeping not only cleans, but offers full-service chimney care. From relining and masonry to animal removal. LB's Chimney Sweeping Service will get the job done right. Call 437-9923 today and enjoy your fireplace tonight.
It's Estee Lauder Christmas 87, and we have a special offer that goes everywhere you go. A complete collection for beautiful eyes, fabulous lips, 22 essentials to slip in your bag, or keep at home in a reusable tray. This $100 value is just $22.50 with any Estee Lauder fragrance purchase. Then you'll have the luxury of Estee Lauder at your fingertips. Estee Lauder's special holiday offer is yours at Flaws, a beef woman company.
Emma, can you come over here and bring the mayor?
Menalba County's prize sweet pickle recipe was a 100-year-old secret.
This sure tastes like ours.
It sure does.
But it seems like some local citizen might have shared it with Vlasic. Now, if you're wondering who might have given Vlasic the recipe for these new country classic sweet pickles, well, around here they're getting a pretty good idea.
Try all 5 new Vlasic country classic sweets.
Nice and easy grocery shops know Christmas is a busy time around your house. When your little helpers get thirsty, serve them Minute Maid apple juice, fruit punch, Concord punch, and other flavors. Minute Maid fruit drinks are healthy and fun. 10-ounce bottles, just 59 cents each. Nice and easy grocery shops are your Christmas helpers. Open Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
We make things nice for you.
Feel the warmth and friendly spirit of Skinny Atlas during the holiday season. Open Thursdays and Fridays until 8:30 and Sundays from 12 to 5. Discover Christmas in Skinny Atlas.
And now, the viewer's opportunity to speak out in letters to the editor. Those letters directed to one Jim Holland.
Right, and we're going to talk about nuns in our area who reached retirement age and what they have to face. Our first letter from a Syracuse viewer who has this to say about those who gave everything and expect nothing in return. I usually watch News Center 5, and on Friday evening I was completely flabbergasted by a story. It was your piece about retiring nuns, and it was just too much for me to believe. These women who commit 40 to 60 years of their lives to the church should not have to go begging for their retirement. The Catholic Church is one of the richest organizations in the world, and it is outrageous that they should ask poor Catholics to support the nuns. These women should live out their lives in luxury. That's the opinion of E.S. from Syracuse. The recent prison riots among interned Cubans prompts this letter from an Auburn viewer who writes, 3 years ago, the U.S. attacked the island of Grenada and found a Cuban influence. The 600 Cuban men and women there were returned to Cuba. At this time, the U.S. still had the problem of the more than 1,000 criminals and mentally ill people who were dumped on us during the Carter administration. I suggested at that time to the State Department that they combine the problems and return both groups to Cuba together. Their response called that deception. This ridiculous attitude has resulted in a multi-million-dollar prison fire set by these people. That's from John Welsinski from Auburn. From Richford, a question of too much speed. Several times I have witnessed the near collision of cars. Each time I was driving the speed limit when the driver of a car behind me decided to pass, even though oncoming traffic obviously was much too close. Although I slowed down so an accident was avoided, each time the cars barely missed crashing. Is there anything that can be done about this deadly matter? Each time this has happened, someone very dear to me has been in the car with me. And that's signed a housewife and mother from Richford. Well, we're told by State Police spokesman Bob Marquardt that you should try to get the make of the car and the license plate number if possible, and then report both, along with the incident, to your local law enforcement agency. The State Police, he tells us, does follow up on such reports. And finally, there is an unusual story from a Syracuse viewer who tells us, last year, my dog suffered an itching problem which created great discomfort. Without going into details, I found his problem was caused by the red dye put into some dog food. maybe you could pass this along on your SPCA segment, and that's signed Seeing Red in Syracuse. Well, we did talk to the SPCA's Dorothy Lobdell, and she tells us it is true that some cheaper pet foods do use red dye. What you should do is read the labels and make sure you don't buy any of that. She also suggests buying the natural dog foods. Okay, if you have something on your mind, we'd like to hear from you. Send your letter to Letters to the Editor in care of WTVH TV, 980 James Street, Syracuse, New York, 13203, and your name won't be used if you so request. Dorothy also told me that a lot of the dog foods especially are changing their minds about dyes and preservatives and what have you, because people simply are stopping buying them. So she says it's being phased out.
I would guess too that probably the best solution is to ask your vet. You know, what would be best for your dog.
Right. She tells us that they've always been advised to use natural dog food.
Scientific diet is one, I know. You have to watch the protein content. Can't be too high.
Right.
Okay. So much for dog food. This isn't Terry Peters. This is Tracy Davis. Yesterday I said Terry would be back again today. I forgot who was going to be with us, but Tracy is with us today through the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday each week. Okay. Now, weather-wise, winter is still about 3 weeks away, but on the calendar, but not in reality.
Boy, Central New Yorkers had a big surprise when they woke up today. Icy roads and snow.
Right.
Yeah, cloudy skies and flurries are the rule of thumb today, and it will be throughout the Syracuse viewing area and throughout the week. Let's take a look at our records for this date. Records set in 1980 was our high 65 and our low 5 degrees was set in 1976. Last year's temperatures 32 and 12. Let's take a look at our conditions right now in Syracuse. Our temperature 31, humidity is at 80%. Our barometer is 29.73, and on the rise our winds, they're out of the west at 11 miles an hour. A weather disturbance moving eastward through our region is leaving a trail of cloud cover and snowfall over most of central New York. These wintry conditions are expected to stay with us right through the end of the week. Taking a look at the temperatures around our viewing area. Oswego up in the lake, they check in with cloudy skies and 31. Old Forge has the low for the area. They have snow and 26 degrees, and in Fulton they have our high. They have 36 degrees, and they are also reporting snow. Let's get to the 5-cast for tonight, or for this afternoon. Scattered flurries, accumulation of 1 to 2 inches possible in some areas, 2 to 4 in some squall areas. Then for tonight, colder with a chance of more flurries, the low near 25. And for tomorrow, cloudy with a chance of light snow later on in the day. Taking a look at the whole picture ahead. For Friday through Sunday, partly cloudy, a chance of flurries each day, the highs 35 and the lows around 20. Chilly.
Seem to be in a bit of a rut, don't we?
Yes, winter rut, a winter rut.
Thank you, Tracy. Well, in sports this noon hour, while all of the attention of late has been focused on SU's football and basketball teams, Moyne's basketball team is getting set for its home opener, and John Eves has a preview.
The Dolphins are 2-1, but head coach John Beilein feels his squad is just a couple of foul shots away from being unbeaten. Beilein, beginning his 5th season at the helm, returns a very talented squad.
From bottom to top, we're as good as any team we've had, but because of the intangibles we have. But we still do not have great quickness and do not have great size, but we're hoping all those other things will make up for that loss.
Two of the Dolphins' key returnees are senior forward Scott Hicks, last season's most valuable player, and Pete Jerebko.
I think Coach wants to establish pretty much team depth this year. Last year we've been playing maybe 6, 7 guys the whole year, but we're going to need 9 or 10 guys. I think with our schedule's the toughest it's ever been.
Before this season ends, Jerebko will become one of the top scorers in Moyne's history. Jerebko knows it, but the unselfish senior says personal records come second.
I think I'm around 1,200, but that's back in my mind. I'd like to get 20 wins this year and hopefully get to the tournament. That's one goal I really want to reach.
Last season, the Dolphins finished at 20-10. Beilein says several things have to fall into place to reach that plateau this season.
But we really think our kids have an awful lot of heart, and then we can play with anybody, particularly on our court. The key for us this year is we have to win on the road. We just have to go on and play well on the road and shoot fouls well on the road.
Tonight's tip-off for that Moyne-Scranton game is 8 o'clock. John Eves, News Center 5 Sports.
How expensive will those holiday meals be? Mr. Food has been checking out the prices at the market and is here with some good news.
It's best food buys of the week. And there's a lot of ways to save money at the table, but this time of the year we sometimes throw caution to the wind because of the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. I mean, we're eating at odd hours, or we can't give too much time to preparation. Well, we can still have some good buys on hand, such as cauliflower and broccoli. I'd feature them this week, well, especially here in our area with all of the sales that we're finding on them. And if we don't get a chance to quick cook them, then they're still great raw in a salad or with a dip for snacking. Now, certainly the so-called winter vegetables of potatoes, onions, carrots, they can be used in a time-saving stew or a thick soup that we make the night before and just warm it the next day supper time. Just a crispy bread with that and it's a whole meal. Stews and soups are better the second day anyway, and only one pot to wash. And a quick salad with any of the abundant ingredients, they'll fit in there too. In fruit, the citrus is getting better every day. The more into the season we get, the sweeter it gets. There's a lot of varieties of excellent apples around and pears around. They'll continue for a while. Pineapples are in now, and they are really holiday festive. You know, with ground beef on sale, I made some burgers and put some blue cheese on them like they're offered in all of the new hanging plant restaurants, but at a better price. Those can be made out of ground turkey also, and just add a little more seasoning to it. Now, if you run into them, pick up a few of these little jackby little squashes. They look like little teeny-weeny pumpkins, and after you use them for a table decoration, just bake them, and they are the sweetest squash that you could ever imagine. See, there's plenty of easy for the season items here for saying, ooh, it's so good.
Still ahead on News Center 5, the return of the Rat Pack.
And how about the taste of a Feijoa? We'll tell you all about it when we return with more of News Center 5.
PNC presents The Big Book of Savings, a weekly guide to price champion savings. Shop this week and save on PNC brand beef, boneless, bottom round steak or roast, only $1.57 a pound. Stock up on Blue Boy peas, corn, or green beans, the 17-ounce can, get 3 for just $1. And great tasting, juicy California navel oranges, size 72s, buy 5 for only $1. When it comes to saving you more on your overall food bill, we wrote the book.
PNC, the price champion.
Experience the world of fine fashion, fabrics, and crafts at the Fabric Barn in Fayetteville. We offer the highest quality in natural and designer wools, silks, and cotton fabrics in a brilliant array of colors and textures. The fashion-conscious seamstress will find a full line of Vogue and folkwear patterns for that classic look. The Fabric Barn carries the latest notions for crafters and quilters, all at reasonable prices. And as always, you can expect personalized service from our experienced staff. The Fabric Barn, 105 Brookley Drive, Limestone Plaza, Fayetteville.
Dad always said, watch where you're going. Not bad advice. The warning signs were there. My friends quitted 2 drinks. I put away 5 or 6. I thought I could drink them under the table. When my wife said I should cut down, I told her to stop nagging. My drinking almost ruined my life. If you see these signs in yourself or someone you love, call your local council on alcoholism or 1-800-ALCALS and watch where you're going.
Purchasing a computer, or do you have questions about computers? I'm Joe Gentile, and we're the PC Center. You may wonder what makes us different from other computer dealers. It's the price, selection, and service. For price, we have the leading-edge Model D starting at $899. For selection, we stock over 500 titles of software and hundreds of accessories. For service, we have accountants, programmers, and engineers to answer your questions. So for service and selection at a great price, visit the PC Center.
Among today's people in the news, comedian Joan Rivers says she will file a $50 million lawsuit against Gentleman's Quarterly magazine. Rivers says the magazine lied when it claimed that she wished her late husband were dead because of all their marital problems. She says that any money granted through the lawsuit will be given to a fund to help libel victims who cannot afford their own defense. And the Rat Pack is back. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Dean Martin are planning a 40-show, 29-city tour. Sinatra says the tour was put together with the hope they could reach audiences outside Las Vegas and Atlantic City. Martin says the performance will also be taped for an HBO cable special. Martin referred to HBO as home booze office. How about that?
They'll love that.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, it wasn't on Mr. Food's list of best food buys of the week, but if some California growers have their way, you'll soon be tasting of Feijoa. Jim Knapp reports.
Have you ever eaten a Feijoa? Have you ever seen a Feijoa?
If you haven't, well, this is a Feijoa.
A Feijoa is a subtropical fruit that is a hybrid second cousin of the pineapple guava.
That's easy for Barbara Haslam to say. She's been a Feijoa grower for 4 years now. One of only 100 or so around the state who've picked this crop to cultivate. A native of Brazil, the Feijoa was introduced in California around the turn of the century, and it has struggled to find acceptance. So growers like Haslam have united and are aggressively marketing the Feijoa. They hope their efforts aren't fruitless.
Trying to introduce a new crop like this, it's been a challenge. They kind of go, ooh, what's that? Smells interesting. Well, I think I'll try one.
And just how does a Feijoa taste?
Sort of like, I don't know. Some say it tastes perfumey, some taste spearminty, some banana, some even strawberry. It has its own taste, and until you've tried it, you really can't tell.
Haslam suggests trying Feijoa pie, Feijoa shortcake, Feijoa jam.
Well, you can do anything with a Feijoa. You can do it with an apple. They have a new, tantalizing taste, and we'd really like everyone to try them.
Trust me, there is no other way to find out if you like them. In Napomo, California, Jim Knapp for CBS News.
Go to your favorite supermarket and ask for a Feijoa. That'll shake them up, won't it?
A Feijoa a day keeps the doctor away, yeah.
Feijoa. All fruits. It reminds people of everything.
Yeah.
That's it for right now. I'll see you again tonight at 6, and we three will return tomorrow at noon. For all of us at News Center 5, have a good day.